thanks for staying with us. We've shifted gears a little bit, and you heard earlier about the wonderful things that are happening in the city that's available to you for recreation and education as family events. And we were going to have Mr. Wheeler and others a little bit later in the program. However, we've changed that part of the program to bring to you something that we think is very essential and critical at this point in time. And we have with us one of the experts leading the charge in that area. Mr. Robert Lewis is with us this evening. And housing and other issues will be a part of the discussion. But I want to first thank Mr. Lewis for being on the program. Welcome to the program, Mr. Lewis.
Welcome. Thank you for having me.
And be able to hear from him the passion he has for helping others in a specific demographic or community. And without any further ado, I'm going to ask Mr. Lewis to share a little bit about himself with us so you get to know him as we go through this process, and then we'll know a little bit about what he does and how we can support the many efforts and energies that he expends within his program. And this program is called Pathways to Redemption. And I hope I got that right, Mr.
Yes,
Mr.
yes,
Lewis.
you do.
Okay.
I'm just really excited to be here. I want to thank you for the opportunity of getting a call early this morning. Excited about coming on the show. For myself, grew up in Boston, raised right here in Jamaica Plain, and father of 4.
Oh, awesome! That's a good achievement,
yes,
good
yes.
accomplishment. Congratulations!
Yes. And one granddaughter that I love dearly.
That's the special
5 years
part.
old. Oh my goodness! Yeah, she's my heart. My work has always been around the community. My work has always been around whether it's youth, whether it's adults. Worked a lot in the DYS system in my early years, in my 20s. Moved on to working in the schools. Found myself always working for the disenfranchised, the folks that seem to be,
Overlooked and forgotten.
Overlooked and forgotten, and that's a perfect analogy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I've been doing for the last maybe 30 years. I do some therapeutic mentoring. I do some in-home therapy. What led me here on this challenge was a few years ago, and I also do a lot of sports. I grew up, I was a pretty good basketball player, got a college scholarship. My goal was to go to college and do all the right things and make it to the NBA, all the things that a young boy growing up in the inner city wishes to do.
Yes.
Done a lot of work around, just activists,
I like the pursuit. You said a lot of things that youngsters like to look forward to doing. That NBA thing is a big piece of a lot of youngsters' lives. They want to grow up and play pro sports. Football.
Yeah, and one thing with that, I thought it's always been a way for the urban city, but it's also a way to get away. My goal, was to go to school and play sports, but also, I was raised up, you have to get an education. You have to be able to do, because everybody is not going to be an all-star. Nobody's going to, so you have to have something back to fall on, but it was an opportunity. Sports is a good catalyst to motivate you to want to do other things and see how, what I say, away from the bricks and the mortar of wherever you grow up at.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. Part of the process is developmental as well, and if kids get out and expose themselves to sports, it builds, camaraderie, competitive the desire to progress and to achieve.
Exactly. I think one of the keys, especially now, in our day, it seems like it was quite a little bit easier. They have so many obstacles now, whether you can't go to this certain street and you can't go cross over here. You got enemies for the names of your streets. And sports used to be a passage, but it's not like that no more. So we have to really teach our kids how to navigate through the streets from home to school. One of the things, I'm so happy we just got back from Las Vegas. Also do sports. We do AAU basketball. We took an 8th grade team down there. And the experience of visiting Las Vegas and all that it has, the bright lights, but more than that, the experience of like 400 teams throughout the country that came there and fellowship and different things, and they learned that, wow, we're dealing with the same problems in the city, the violence, the guns, and and ironically, I have to mention this, that Monday, it was on the, we got to Las Vegas that Monday about 9 o'clock. It was on the eve of the Zimmerman verdict.
Wow.
And, you know, we got there, we got off the plane, and, you know, we circled up, we wanted to talk about, you know, how grateful, you know, to be here. You know what I mean? And how, you know, we did a role play on what was it like, you know, for Trayvon Martin, you know, so I don't want to go there, but, you know, the kids really got, and we prayed about that. So that kind of lands me to Pathways
Where you
to
are.
Redemption, yes.
Now, you know, I've heard the name, and it sort of implies certain things.